Let's get into Friday feedback for the week. We take feedback of all sorts and through all sorts of different means. You can always email info@davidpakman.com. Questions, comments, concerns, criticisms. It's all welcome. Politeness is preferable. We start today with something that is just very strange. Armando wrote in, "This canal is an embarrassment." This canal is an embarrassment. You know, I've talked before and I've been interviewed about this on other shows. How do I deal with the criticism? And one of the things I said that earlier in my career I didn't do, which now I do, is I really imagine what it must be like to be some of the people that say these things to me. And even when things are correctly spelled, sort of feel a little sad for them, right? Like what must your life have come to where this is the sort of crap you choose to spend your days doing, sending hate messages to people you don't know on the internet, especially when it's stuff like "this canal is an embarrassment." It becomes very easy to just ignore it. It really does. And I don't know whether there's anything else to the technique, but I feel like these people's lives must not be going well. And if they feel a little bit better because they fire off some incorrectly spelled message to me, you know what? I can take it. I'm a big boy. Here's another one. "Grow your brain and you will get it. TRAMP 2024. Not Trump, TRAMP 2024. This is a classic. It's sort of reminiscent of some of the defenders of Jordan Peterson. You would understand how incredibly insightful and intelligent what Trump is saying is if you were smarter. No. You don't have the capacity to understand the greatness of what Jordan Peterson is saying. You're misunderstanding it. The only reason it doesn't make sense to you is because you're misunderstanding it. It's always me who's the one misunderstanding, not anybody else. Clayton says, maybe if you crawled out of your parents' basement, you would come to the realization that things were much better under Trump. Just look around." You know, when people write this stuff to me, please tell me exactly which metrics you're talking about. Which things were better under Donald Trump? Were we more respected globally? No. Was unemployment lower? No. Was job creation higher? No. Were gas prices lower? Yeah, gas prices were a little bit lower during part of Trump's presidency, but on an inflation adjusted basis, they're basically just as low now at $3 a gallon. What is it that was better under Trump? I'd love for someone to actually explain it to me rather than leave me wondering in this way. Here is Rob, who says, "Biden spends my money like a drunken sailor. I'm not staying home. I'm voting Biden out. Hey, buddy, have some more Biden Kool-Aid." Yeah, listen, there are programs Trump has spent money on, and there are programs that Biden has spent money on. I would argue that despite Trump blowing up the deficit, as Republican presidents tend to do, Joe Biden's spending has actually made sense. The CHIPS and Science Act, which increased domestic manufacturing, spending for something that strengthens the country. The Inflation Reduction Act and the infrastructure bill, which strengthen infrastructure while investing in green energy, while putting money into jobs that are local, good paying jobs. He's spending money in a way that makes a lot of sense. Student loan debt forgiveness. Biden has done more student loan debt forgiveness than any president. Spending money in an economically stimulative way, because now people whose student loan debt was forgiven, instead of paying interest on loans, they are taking that money that's freed up and putting it into local communities. It's called demand side stimulus in the economic world. Yeah, he's spending money in ways that I like, Here's a YouTube viewer who says, "Why are you still in the YouTube news section? You should be in the fools section because you say everything Trump said is BS, but HS that comes out of your month really is gabbish as you country go down the drain. You base prick, you are. What is wrong with America? And jokers like you. You are so scared Trump is going to win. America has woken up Joe Biden loser." It's really hard to parse the syntax on this one, but I want to tell people again, I'm not scared Trump is going to win because something's going to happen to me. I'm going to be fine. That's the reality. Okay. I'm scared of Trump winning because of what's going to happen to the country and what's going to happen to people who are in precarious employment situations and what's going to happen to people who are economically marginalized and what's going to happen to minority groups of different kinds. It's not this whole I'm so scared. It would be terrible for me if Trump won. I hate to tell you, if Trump won, it's probably great for the show and it's fine for me. I'm worried because I care about more than just myself. And it's really hard to get a bunch of these people on the right to understand that. The Corvair guy says, dude, get over the Trump derangement syndrome. You know Trump is good for America. You just can't break free from your Democrat Party line. Remember, I'm not a Democrat. I have no Democrat Party line. The Corvair guy continues, but you will probably vote secretly for Trump because we were much better off on many issues when he was running it. Stop fooling us and yourself. Vote Trump 2024 like a good patriot. First of all, my vote is irrelevant. The idea that I would say I'm voting one way, but actually vote a different way when I vote in New York, which Trump is going to lose no matter what. I mean, my vote doesn't matter here. Sadly, I wish we had a national popular vote, but my vote does not matter. The idea that I would tell my audience one thing and do a different one behind the scenes is absolutely disgusting. I've said before, I think one of the most dishonest and horrible things that content creators can do is to essentially play characters and to be someone different behind the scenes. Any view I espouse on the show, I espouse in my private life. I know that that is not true of every content creator. I know that there are content creators that have latched on to what they perceive to be views that generate clicks or get them speaking gigs or whatever the case may be. That is not something you're ever going to get on this show. So one thing you can be sure of is if I'm telling you something on the show that I believe it in real life. All right, let's do one of these is very much indicative of how disinformation spreads. Johnny Rocks wrote in, trying to prove the point that Biden doesn't know what's going on. Johnny wrote, according to Biden, we lost the Revolutionary War because we didn't have enough airports. That's one reason to vote for Trump. So here is how disinformation spreads. Donald Trump is the one who, during a speech, talked about airports during the Revolutionary War. When Joe Biden talked about it, he was quoting Trump. Joe Rogan actually did a segment where Joe Rogan said, man, I saw this video of Biden talking about airports during the Revolutionary War. Jamie pulls up. It was actually Trump who said it. Biden was just quoting him. And Rogan goes, oh, I don't know. Okay. This is a classic. If you believe that when a president says something about airports during the Revolutionary War, it's indicative that they are unfit for office, it is actually Trump who said it. Okay, Johnny? Go check the record. Fact check me on this one. Irma Parham wrote in about immigration and said, 8-year-old kids can't make immigration decisions, David, but you're okay if they make gender transition mutilation surgery decisions on their own. Everything you advocate is creepy. So first and foremost, if you're 8 years old in Mexico and your parents say, hey, tomorrow we're leaving, we're going to the United States, it is not your decision. It is not your decision. When it comes to gender transition mutilation surgery decisions, I am not able to find a shred of evidence that 8-year-olds are making those decisions on their own. Never mind evidence that in any significant number, 8-year-olds are having such surgeries. Do the research. Matt Walsh floated completely imaginary numbers about this. Others have as well. The idea that an 8-year-old can go, I want to have a surgery to change my genitalia, and a month later it's being done, is not happening. In addition to this, even if the endpoint is such a surgery, there are so many mental health requirements, parental involvement, etc. Now, you can still acknowledge that that's going on and that all of these safeguards are in place and say, I don't think any 8-year-old should have that done. I don't know the answer to that. That part I'm unsure about, okay? I defer to the medical experts and mental health experts on that. Maybe it's true that it shouldn't be happening with 8-year-olds. It basically isn't, is what the data tell us. But this person is actually proving my point. In order to get any kind of transition services for minors, parents almost always have to be involved at the younger ages. There is a mental health process. There is a pathway that is put in place. There are no kids making these decisions for themselves. And Irma seems really to be proving my point more than she's proving the point she thinks she's proving. info@davidpakman.com. info@davidpakman.com is the place to write if you have a question, a comment, a criticism, a concern, whatever the case may be. We have a fantastic bonus show coming up for you. Producer Pat will be on the bonus show. You can sign up at joinpakman.com.
A David Pakman membership costs $6 a month.
Normally it's $6 a month. You can get a discount by using the code SAVEDEMOCRACY24. And I also encourage you to do it before the new website launches, because membership prices will be going up. You can lock in the lower rates for as long as you want them by signing up today at joinpakman.com. We'll see you on the bonus show, and then we'll be back here on Monday.